Greetings to you, special people on the internet, and welcome back to the series. So, as I promised, now we are getting into the conspiracy theories so that we can discuss where exactly did coronavirus started. And in this, we are going to focus on as many resources as we can. If you've got any books that were written in the past pertaining coronavirus, we're going to look into that. We're going to look at different newspapers. We're going to look at different television platforms, and we are going to look at different scientific opinions that are coming out there. And we are also even going to further go deeper, even in religion. If there are any prophets happened to prophesy about the forthcoming of this virus, we're going to discuss all of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this one down into two-part series. So that's it. And before I get much of a time, let's just get into it. This is what President Trump is saying. He's simply saying, I'm calling it the Chinese virus because it's not because I'm racist. It simply means it came from China. Whether he's saying it was created by the Chinese or it originated from China as depicted, that it came from seafood or from birds and so forth, it's not clear. Another heading that is saying from South China Morning Post on YouTube, they are saying this foreign ministry spokesman claims US Army brought the coronavirus to Wuhan. This is what a Chinese foreign minister spokesperson is saying. So let's also go ahead and look at other sources. So this is an online newspaper called The Scientist, and in The Scientist I would like to focus on two major guys who are having a debate over here. If I can look down here, Stephen Mosher is from the Population Research Institute, and he's arguing that China actually manufactured this in a laboratory in Wuhan. He first gave a background of SARS. If we are to understand a little bit about coronavirus, why it is called COVID-19 and why it is called SARS-CoV-2. In 2000, between 2002 and 2003, there was an outbreak of a virus in China that was severe acute respiratory syndrome. It actually made a lot of havoc in China between those years, so they named it what? SARS. And this one now, coronavirus, is called coronavirus or COVID-19. The word coronavirus is simply coming from the way it looks like. They say it looks like a crown sort of, so they say it is better for us to call it corona, and it's a virus, so the name coronavirus. COVID-19, they are simply saying now is coronavirus discovered in the year 2019 because it was actually discovered during the end of last year in December. And the reason they are also saying SARS-CoV-2, the scientists related it to the previous outbreak of a virus, that outbreak between the years I have mentioned. So they say it's a second generation of the SARS viruses. So we are gonna call it SARS-CoV-2, which is to say severe acute respiratory syndrome, COVID or coronavirus 2, version 2. Oh, so okay, so that's it. So in those years when there was an outbreak, it is said that the outbreak happened because there was some experimentations in the lab at Wuhan Institute in China. That's when the SARS first generation in 2003 and 2002 had a breakout. So because of this, Mosher is arguing that China has a history of letting pathogens escape out of the laboratory. So it could be that this one also happened to escape. So that is why he is saying, I'm not saying this has been genetically engineered to be a bioweapon that's escaped from the lab. I'm just saying that China is collecting dangerous pathogens and they have a history of letting them escape from the lab. That's Mosher. And here we also have another guy, Paul McCrae, and is from the University of Iowa. He's simply saying this is a natural disease because from the issues of SARS, and so forth, it has been seen that this is a virus that escaped and that came from birds and jumped onto men. We do not need to come up with far-fetched theories when the genome sequence and the characteristics of these viruses support what you are saying. So he's simply saying the one that is known to have escaped, though it escaped from the laboratories, it was collected from the birds. So we cannot actually try to argue upon far-fetched theories, because what we are seeing is simply that it is a SARS virus that came from animals and it jumped onto men. That's his case. BBC online newspaper 7 February, they are saying the Russian media has hinted at US conspiracy. So in this one they are saying the Russians are arguing that Donald Trump is linked to this virus because of the word corona. They are saying it is referring to the word corona, but it relates to the crown. And in this regard, they are linking Donald Trump because they are saying Donald Trump is known of hosting beauty pigeons, and in this regards, he gives a crown to crown the winner. And they are now connecting the dots and saying it should be related to Donald Trump. I don't know why they are saying it this way. Maybe there is much to it. Let's also proceed and find out what other opinions are saying. And here we have another Israel Today posted on 9 February 2020. We have got an Israel official who is kind of saying the virus should have manufactured as a bioweapon in Chinese labs at Wuhan Institute. And this one is a former IDF intelligence officer and expert on biological warfare, and he's suggesting that coronavirus is no accident. So let's go ahead and actually pick a little bit of what he said. In an interview with the Washington Times, Shoham noted that the outbreak began and remains worst in the city of Wuhan, which is home to the only declared facility capable of working with such deadly viruses, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Despite Chinese insistence that it has no biological weapons program, the institute is believed to serve the dual purpose of civilian and military research. So he is claiming that this institute at Wuhan, although it is serving as a biological for civilians research, it also serves as a military as well. So he is actually saying it could have come from there. So he also thinks coronavirus might have accidentally leaked from the laboratory, from this facility. Coronaviruses, particularly SARS, have been studied in the institute and are probably held there. So he's also going ahead to claim that these viruses is not new to these labs. They have been studied and kept there. So probability of them to escape either by purpose or accident could be high. In principle, outward virus infiltration might take place either as leakage or as an indoor unnoticed infection or of a person that normally went out of the concerned facility. So he's saying maybe it could have, because these viruses are said to have maybe to attach on a person or on surfaces. So maybe it attached on the person and the person went out of the facility unknowingly and happened to spread it. This is what he is actually saying. So this could have been the case with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but so far there isn't enough evidence or indication for such incidents. So even though he's saying, even though there is not enough evidence, he is of the opinion and suspecting that this is what could have happened. So these two guys, especially when you look at Steve Mosher and this one, Danny Shohan, they are actually leaving conclusions to the readers, and they don't want to open up and give their personal opinions clearly and conclusions. So we don't know. This is what is happening. Science Daily is an online blog. So these guys are claiming that in the previous research, this one is 26 March 2020. In the previous research, they are claiming that it comes from bats. So far they have done further research, and they are now claiming that they did not see well. It should have been coming from what? Pangolins. Why are they saying that? They are saying in this paragraph, which I would like to read, after uncovering an error in the analysis that suggested snakes as an intermediate host, the team searched the DNA and protein sequence isolated from pangolin tissues for one similar to SARS-CoV-2. The researchers identified the protein sequences in sick mammal slangs that were 91% identical to the human virus proteins. Moreover, the receptor binding domain of the spike protein from the SARS-CoV-2 compared to from the pangolin's coronavirus had only 5 amino acid differences from SARS-CoV-2 compared with the 19 differences between the human and the bat viral protein. This evidence points to the pangolin as the most likely intermediate host for the new coronavirus, but additional intermediate hosts could be possible, the researchers say. These guys are simply claiming that this is from nature and this is from animals which are called pangolins, because when they look at the viral protein sequence of the bats, is too much. There is too much difference compared to the one on the pangolins. They are saying the pangolins is simply a difference of 91%, which is closely related to the CoV-2 virus, the coronavirus. So they are saying if this one from the viral protein from the pangolins is highly related to SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, it seems that this disease should have come from what? From pangolins. This is the line of argument. This one is Arireng.
As the world struggles to contain the new virus, a new speculation from the Chinese scientists who believe it may have originated at a research facility not far from the Wuhan fish market. While they say more research needs to be done to find solid proof, such labs are known to contain disease-ridden animals, including hundreds of bats.
So they are saying, speculation is saying it should have come from an institute not far away from the Wuhan market. Which place is close to Wuhan market is connecting the dots to Wuhan Institute? And let's go ahead and hear from another video that I would like to look at. So this one is from the Chinese envoy. So what are they saying? He was asked by a journalist, and this is what he has to say.
Still some work to do. And the scientists are doing their best to know more about this novel virus. But based on the analysis of genomic sequence, what we can know now is that this virus originated from nature, not man-made.
Saying about this virus, we don't know much. There is more research to be done, but you should understand that this virus is coming from nature. Okay. Tulane University School of Medicine, and his name is Dr. Gary, PhD. This is not a bioweapon. Nobody made this virus in a laboratory. Okay? We don't know much, But what we know is that there are few small changes that were made to the virus that makes it to spread so rapidly. So, who made these changes? Is it genetic engineering? He is not explaining it. Is it nature when it transitioned from the animals to humans, so there were changes that were made to the virus by natural selection or by nature to make it so aggressive? We don't know his real position over here, but he is actually saying the speed at which it is spreading, there are very few small changes that would have been made that makes that to happen.
So one thing I can tell you is that this is not a bioweapon. Nobody made this virus in a laboratory. This is a product of nature. What we believe is that the virus, probably a long time ago, originated from a bat species, humans. Now, we don't know how long the virus was in humans. It could be just a few months, could be years, could be decades. But what we do know is that there are a few small changes that were made in the virus that allowed it to spread more rapidly. We know that the origin of this virus is different than the original SARS.
Something that he says about China with regards to efficiency of research on how to curb this virus from spreading. So I want to ask myself, is it true? If true, why is it that China is not actually giving this kind of information required of the zero patient that is required to help scientists worldwide to come out with a solution, because the world is collapsing and economies are collapsing, people are dying. So why are they not cooperating if this is true?
Even if we have a vaccine today, it's not going to help. I think people don't realize that vaccines don't work for every individual that gets the vaccine. Vaccine is a preventative thing. The information that we're lacking from China is about one individual, patient zero. The case in Italy, the cases in Europe.
Okay, so he's talking about the zero patient, and he's saying if we don't have this information about the zero patient, I believe the zero patient is the first person to be affected by this disease, and then from there they want to see its behavior as immediately from animals to humans and its capability of spreading, so that they will know how to curb it from spreading. Okay, so going forward, there is another thing that he also said that actually left my mind rolling, but although it has nothing to do with the coronavirus, it has a relationship though.
Companies will not make vaccines if there is no one to buy it. They only make it when the government is under crisis. So the government can write the check and sign the check and hand over the money. But those governments have not seen a vaccine yet for SARS.
He's saying the pharmaceutical products or companies that manufacture these vaccines, they do not actually manufacture if there is no money, or if there is no government that comes with them with a check. Why? Because maybe it's because they want money, or because it's expensive to work on it. Saying normally governments, they react when they are in crisis. That's when they react, and that's when they begin to give these people money, and the people will begin to want to create the vaccine. And he's giving an example of Ebola here. This raises some other questions. Was Ebola a bioweapon? How did Ebola come to Africa? And he's saying when Ebola decided to leave Africa and go to Europe and America, that's when the vaccine for it was actually found, because those governments were willing to cooperate because they didn't want their citizens to die. But in Africa it was okay. Okay. And beyond that, is it scientists who are doing these experimentations to get a fortune from it? Because when you are talking about this thing manufactured or genetically engineered, we are not saying only governments can do it. maybe scientists can make some experiments somewhere there so that they develop a vaccine and make some money. So, is it? What is happening over here? Sadhguru is not saying he's blaming somebody or he's pointing at somebody, but he's speaking on generality when it comes to the behaviors of humanity. And I believe almost everybody in this world have that kind of behavior of throwing away things that are harmful to both the environment and other humans recklessly. Doesn't mind what will happen as long as to them it's fine. For example, I'm walking in the streets, I'm eating a banana, I just throw away the peels of a banana, and somebody's riding a bicycle or is just walking, they step upon the banana shell, they slide and fall, and maybe they can even crack their head, and who knows, you can even probably die. And again, not only to do with an example of a banana, but he's simply saying, because of us humanity not being responsible, it might seem that our irresponsibility has led to this, because we have destroyed nature enough. As you can see worldwide, a lot of forests have gone, waters are contaminated, pollutions everywhere. Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
Well, it's very unfortunate. There is a segment of population which doesn't care what happens to people around them, which doesn't care what happens to the nation, it doesn't care what happens to the rest of the humanity. All they have is their own vitriol spilling poison all the time. Well, I hope at least the virus will cure them of this poison. Now these few days of being with themselves, I hope they stand up and do something useful. Please do something, whoever you are. I don't know who they are. Whoever you are who's talking this rubbish.
That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this series for today, and tomorrow we are going to go deeper as we have promised. In this regard, I am saying to you as I conclude, and let's do our best as humanity to be responsible, as Sadhguru is saying, because we do not know. Maybe we are trying to blame it on politicians or on scientists or whatever, yet unfortunately maybe it's us, the general population of humanity, who have contributed to the outbreak of coronavirus. So let's begin to be careful today. Thank you, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.